I'll call this special meeting of the City Council of Camarillo and the Camarillo Sanitary District for January 28th, 2026 to order. Will the city clerk please call roll?
Yes, Councilmember Santangelo. Vice Mayor Martinez Bravo.
Here.
Councilmember Kildee.
Here.
Let the record reflect Councilmember Tremblay's absent and Mayor Tennyson.
Here. And I believe now we will turn this over to the Assistant City Manager, Carmen Nichols.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council, and good afternoon. It's my pleasure to provide you a presentation on the City Council's strategic plan. I'd like to acknowledge the great work that staff continues to perform throughout the city for our community members. And this work is reflected in the comprehensive progress memorandum provided to you as an attachment to the agenda report. Additionally, I'd like to extend my gratitude to the strategic planning team and the prioritization team in preparing this information. There's a lot of work that goes into compiling all the great work that our staff is doing, compiling it and putting it together for tonight's presentation, and then also a year-end presentation. So tonight's presentation is framed in 3 sections. Section 1 provides City Council a performance update on fiscal year 2025-26 strategic plan. It's important that we check in with you to ensure that action strategies are moving in the direction as expected by the City Council. Section 2 is an overview of the goals and the values of the existing plan. And then Raina Robertson, Budget and Purchasing Manager, will lead off Section 3 and will provide you an overview of major project prioritization to receive confirmation from you for these projects to be included in budget development and for further council review through the budget development process. The prioritization process ensures that the city's resources are used on major projects and programs aligned with City Council's priorities. We often start by reviewing the mission statement, which the work that we do, the action strategies, the goals and objectives support. And it reads, "We are dedicated to providing effective and efficient municipal services that promote a high quality of life, economic vitality, and a safe environment for all." Last year, staff and council's review focused on ensuring that City Council's policies and directives were aligned with the strategic plan. Some goals and objectives were added, removed, and revised. Intentional emphasis was made to efforts such as public safety, emergency resilience, technology, city facilities, water and wastewater sustainability, and environmental sustainability. As a result of this work with the City Council's strategic plan is comprised of 11 goals and 100% are activated. 67 objectives and approximately 125 action strategies are current, active, and ongoing, including the 11 that were directed by City Council in the current plan. Some action strategies are one-time tasks or projects, while many become programs, services, and activities that are incorporated in the day-to-day operations. Most action strategies can take several months to years to fully develop and be implemented. And this is why this process is so important. We want to make sure that what we are doing is aligned with the City Council's priorities, because after that is established, we look at action strategies to support those. We look at the resources that are needed. And when I mentioned that action strategies can take several months to years to fully develop and implement, we look at these resources to understand the sustainability, the need and the sustainability of these resources. Will this be a one-time project that we have to invest resources in a 1 to 3 year period? Is this a project or a program that may continue? And what will those needed resources be now as we do analysis into implementation? So the agenda, the written report as part of the agenda provides a lengthy update on organizational progress on all the City Council's goals. For this section of the presentation, we will limit it to some performance targets as the report contains much of additional information. I do have to say that this part of the workshop is pretty lengthy in summarizing some key achievements. And so I'm going to change it up a little bit in section 2, but I'll put a pin on that now and I'll explain how we'll do section 2 a little differently than what we had planned when we were working on it this week. Let's begin with fiscal management. That's our goal number 1. Understanding and maximizing the city's fiscal position is critical for strategic planning and ensuring that the city's resources resources are invested with prioritization in mind. Staff continue to aggressively seek grant funds and federal and state appropriations, evaluating investment options and studying fiscal opportunities for major projects. As you know, we're currently undergoing the water reclamation plant. That's upgrades, major project, and we're still studying the financial capability of that project. The city continues to work with Caltrans on funding for the Las Posas Bridge Program through the application submitted to the Highway Bridge Program for fiscal year 2024. However, as an alternate plan, the city submitted an application to the Highway Bridge Program fiscal year 2026 cycle for a total of $19.8 million. Additionally, the city was successful in securing CMAQ and STBG funding to enhance safety across our intersections and the Pleasant Valley Bike Lanes project. So as you can see here, there are 5 main focus areas. We also submitted 6 support letters for funding opportunities. Community enrichment. This involves a partnership between government and community. The graffiti abatement program is a great project and is scheduled as the need arises, and it's also a great volunteer opportunity. City staff received and handled 214 reports of graffiti. I think some may say, well, we don't see graffiti in City of Camarillo. That's because as soon as it's reported, either by, it could be a constituent, it could be a business member, it could be staff, and sometimes it's city council, but as soon as it's reported, it's handled. We also identify it, we track it, we monitor it, we stay on top of the graffiti that may pop up in our community. In fiscal year 25-26, a total of $181,000 was awarded in community service grants to 19 organizations. The City Council was expecting us to expand nonprofit contributions to nonprofits, and that was achieved. These events and programs benefited approximately 18,000 residents. Additionally, a total of $167,000 was awarded in community event grants to 6 organizations. Their events and programs benefited approximately 57,000 residents. And most recently, City Council contributed to Food Share to help with food insecurity in the amount of $70,000. In fiscal 25-26, the city had a total of $504,000 in CDBG funding to allocate and to support nonprofit organizations for the variety of service needs in our community. Art installation at Didstar Park continues to move forward after City Council approved the proposed art in 2025. Installation is beginning, and the art installation is expected to be completed by February or March of this year, with the ribbon cutting grand opening expected mid-March. There are other examples of public art in the progress report provided. The city's homelessness efforts are delivering measurable results through smarter data systems, strategic partnerships, and focused outreach that prioritizes Camarillo residents while maintaining regional coordination. The data-driven system and efficiency is driven by Project Hope. They implemented a by-name list tracking system for real-time monitoring and launched a centralized online intake form that has already received 21 service requests since late September, with 57% being non-Camarillo residents who were appropriately screened out and referred to their home jurisdictions, allowing staff to efficiently focus resources on individuals with local connections. The housing outcomes and impact, the program achieved 14 permanent housing placements and assisted 9 additional individuals in transitioning to emergency shelter, transitional housing, or family reunification, resulting in an 11.3% reduction in active unsheltered homelessness, despite 14 newly identified individuals entering the system. This demonstrates that outflows exceeded inflows through targeted intervention. Strategic partnerships delivered significant support, including $21,000 in donated services from RAIN communities for housing stability assistance and a new collaboration with Adult Protective Services to prevent homelessness among vulnerable elderly residents. This also was used for holiday initiatives, providing toys to 20 children, and 50 Thanksgiving meals were distributed in partnership with the Ventura County Sheriff's Office. And lastly, as an item here on the community cleanup efforts. Project Hope coordinated cleanup operations at Camarillo Park and Ride with California Highway Patrol and Caltrans along Pleasant Valley Road with City Public Works and along with Pleasant Valley Road with City Public Works, maintaining a balanced approach that addresses public space concerns while at the same time connecting individuals to resources and services. In public safety and emergency resilience, city staff worked on the retail alcohol sales zoning ordinance amendment. Staff evaluated the impacts of retail alcohol sales and developed a zoning ordinance updates. The ordinance is scheduled for second reading tonight, and it's anticipated to take effect on March 1. Under public nuisance regulations, staff effectively manage 371 public nuisance concerns through Camarillo Connect, achieving 97.33% voluntary compliance rate. This takes a lot of effort by staff to go out in the field and meet with residents, community members to discuss the public nuisances and to ensure that they understand the code. Under Camarillo Police, you reviewed the report that the Camarillo Police Department's Community Resource Unit continues to conduct extensive community outreach. We heard you, council, that you want us out into the community. So they are educating the public on crime trends, crime prevention, and emergency preparedness, among many other subjects. They present at homeowners associations, churches, businesses, and directly with residents and at events. More details provided on page 8 of the progress memorandum. You heard about the great work the project continues to do supporting the unhoused and unsheltered community, as well as those experienced on mental crisis, and you can find additional detail in the report as well. On page 12 of the report, you'll find that the addition of a patrol cover car in September of 2024 resulted in workload balances and response times were positively impacted for critical calls in every beat. Turning to emergency resilience, the safety element was adopted on September 10th to align with recent state law changes and to strengthen the city's approach to community preparedness response, hazard reduction. Staff is currently working to implement the identified strategies to ensure community resilience. The Climate Action Plan was reviewed by the Economic Development and Land Use Committee and Planning Commission. Staff anticipates presenting it to City Council at the February 25th meeting. And then finally, several community meetings continue to happen. The police department, staff, city staff, fire prevention, and others focused on this year on emergency preparedness. One example includes an informational meeting at Leisure Village to discuss emergency preparation and evacuation concerns. I have 2 slides on land use, transportation, transit, and community development. First, the comprehensive general plan update is underway. Staff have initiated citywide outreach, including community events, stakeholder interviews, and youth engagement. We completed a technical background report and convened a cross-department core team. Outreach efforts continue as well as the formation of the advisory committee, and we plan on hosting a community workshop soon. Staff completed the market analysis to identify funding sources and assess current market conditions for redevelopment opportunities for the Camarillo Commons Strategic Plan. Staff have conducted outreach to the property owners to identify potential constraints that can be addressed through an update of the plan. And under commercial and industrial zoning ordinance amendment, the ordinance amendment is scheduled to be presented to City Council on February 25th. The updates are designed to make the development process more efficient and business-friendly while also enhancing staff's ability to administer zoning regulations. Regarding public transit, the Camarillo Area Transit has recently implemented the Tap to Ride platform, enabling passengers to pay with a credit card on the fixed and trolley route. Passengers on Dial-A-Ride, yes, they can also pay by credit card. CAT also took possession of 3 new transit vehicles this fall, completing its 3-year replacement plan of 17 of 18 vehicles. And the City Council recently received a presentation from VCTC concerning the short-range transit plan. Efforts continue on this item. Under community development, the down payment assistance program to date has produced 13 loans. And with 2 additional loans in the pipeline. That means that we will have, after those 2 loans are issued, 15 new homeowners due to the policy that the City Council has on its down payment assistance program. One of those, the 2 additional loans are scheduled for City Council approval tonight, and 1 loan is in the process. All funds totaling $800,000 are fully appropriated. The temporary transitional housing project is currently in plan check with Building and Safety, and staff anticipate the project to be operational by the end of the fiscal year. You'll be assured some additional updates on that project. And then the Arneal Road Permanent Supportive Housing Project, staff are finalizing the notice, inviting bids to select a general contractor for project construction. Transportation and safety improvements have included installation of a rapid flashing beacon at Adolfo Camarillo High School. Also, installation of 2 speed feedback signs, increase the total signage to 10 throughout the city. And there's a really cool picture of one, that tells you your speed is as you're traveling through our city. So those are the speed feedback signs. We also installed 2 audible pedestrian systems, which now increases the city's 64 cities are signalized with the audible pedestrian systems. The Transportation and Infrastructure has included executing an agreement with Caltrans for them to perform a city water mainline relocation as part of their SR34 project. Installing 60 automatic transfer switches, allowing traffic signals to safely transition to backup power source during power outages. This is really important during power outages to reduce a potential accident, to increase evacuation flow when necessary. These backup, the installation of these 60 automatic transfer switches are necessary. The supercapacitor hybrid battery backup systems were installed at 11 intersections along Santa Rosa Road and 4 intersections along Upland Road. Under traffic operations and technology, we've installed installation of safety cables at 200 signal street names in response to high wind events have been completed. We've also installed the installation of advanced video detection systems continued with the installation occurring at Camino Ruiz and Verdugo Way. Moving on to technology and city facilities, and these are 2 areas which there was an emphasis this year as we were creating and forming new goals or restructuring the goals. In support of Council's goal to modernize and maintain critical infrastructure, the city has advanced key initiatives across cybersecurity, infrastructure resiliency, and operational modernization, strengthening system security, expanding hybrid public engagement, and improving power and connectivity reliability, and advancing data, energy, and building management capabilities. Together, these efforts establish the foundation for enterprise-wide operational enterprise-wide operational support, including the enterprise asset management system. There are several projects in each of these areas, so although they're key topics, there are several projects that we will be endeavoring in this year. Talk about efficiencies when you switch things, you switch the button from manual to using technology. So one of the first major initiatives under the Technology Modernization Plan is the implementation of an enterprise asset management system. This will modernize how the city manages assets across finance, fleet, facilities, water, wastewater, streets, and traffic. After a 16-month evaluation and prioritization process, this enterprise system will replace manual and paper-based processes with integrated mobile workflows, improved reporting, and long-term capital planning. Council will begin hearing this item as early as February 11th at the February 11th meeting. So why is this important? Well, or some important key factors of all of this. Most cities regionally are in the process of replacing their legacy EAM systems. So most cities have an EAM system. But we have the benefit of starting fresh and learning from the shortfalls. So while we have not implemented one, we have learned a lot from our neighbors. We will be connecting systems, 16 integrations with existing systems. We will be modernizing operations, something like going from manual logbooks to technology such as iPads. We will have the ability to have reporting and analytics. When we come to the city council and we ask for new assets, when we plan for future needs, we can use the information that we will be tracking and monitoring through an EAM system to provide that justification and support. Right now, as I mentioned earlier, we're going from paper logbooks to technology. In the area of natural resource infrastructure and management, community outreach continues, and we're doing really well in this area. We've delivered water conservation messaging across multiple channels. We've had social media posts, newsletter articles, cablecast, and website. We continue our rebate program, continuing water efficiency rebates for low flush toilets and recirculating water heaters. Our conservation installations continue. We've provided 1 hot water pump rebate, installed 2 smart irrigation controllers, converted 350 feet to drip irrigation, completed 67 nozzle retrofits throughout our community, and conducted 4 water surveys to identify reduction opportunities. And a project that we're very proud of and that is moving very quickly is the AMI meter project. It's launched summer of 2025 to replace approximately 14,000 water meters. It provides real-time automated reading and usage data to city and customers, and we're currently at 64% complete. For someone that recently had an irrigation water with an immense loss of water, an AMI system is really important. That was me, by the way. Sustainability, environmental stewardship. The police station was retrofitted with a lighting system providing efficient energy systems that provides environmental sustainability and cost savings. It replaces antiquated, obsolete equipment that can no longer be repaired. The Corporation Yard projects started this month, so you'll be hearing about more of that. This is really important. It replaces antiquated, obsolete equipment that can no longer be repaired. So it's no longer an option that we have where we want to be more energy efficient. Yes, we want to be more energy efficient, and we will be installing energy efficiency. But when something goes down in our lighting and HVAC system as well as other systems, they cannot be repaired. So you will start seeing projects, and White Facility was another key focus. Our city facilities, because we have had some deferred maintenance and outdated systems. So it's time that we renew those. We've also purchased 7 additional Ford F-150 Lightning trucks and 1 E-Transit van, bringing the total to 20 vehicle replacements out of the 33 targeted. We've implemented the 33 city fleet vehicle replacements identified for replacement by 2026. And we're proud to talk about the Bike to Work event scheduled for 2026, promoting and encouraging employee participation in regional and national Bike to Work days and months. On the solid waste program highlights for sustainability and environmental stewardship, very proud of our numbers. Solid Waste Division's major achievements include successfully procuring over 3,200 tons of organic material. This advances the sustainability in the diversion goals, exceeding the state's mandated target for the city. So we have exceeded their mandated target timeline. We've established a partnership with Pleasant Valley Rec Parks District to directly support local park improvement projects through a $30,000 voucher issued to the district for the use of compost and mulch. We completed more than 10,000 SB 1383 waste audits, strengthening compliance across residential and commercial sectors. And we promoted solid waste programs and organics recycling, not just in our newsletter and through social media, but also by attending summer concerts and other events, reaching the 2,200 residents that come out to our concerts. On the economic development front, we've embedded the economic development strategic plan into daily operations. A plan refresh is targeted for Q1 2026 to ensure that Camarillo's economic development strategy is effective and aligned with the needs of the community. ChooseCamrio.com continues to be a strong business information and marketing platform for the city with almost 4,000 views from July to December 2025. The focus this coming year will be to incorporate aerospace, defense into the industry section and highlight more local businesses. In terms of business retention and expansion, Camario's business base is broad and active with nearly 4,400 firms operating in Camarillo, 75% in commercial districts and 25% home-based, and 3,700 companies that serve our market but are based out of the city. Despite global uncertainty, Camarillo's vacancies are lower than state averages. Retail vacancy continues to be low at a rate of 4.1% compared to the state's overall figure of 5.4%. The $11 million square feet of industrial space in Camarillo hosts over 100 manufacturers with a 3.9% vacancy rate compared to the state's average of 7.5%. The office market continues to adapt to new work patterns with a vacancy rate of 10.9% compared to the state's average of 14.1%. This tells you, with those low vacancy rates, that businesses want to do business in Camarillo. So a focus is on our economic development efforts. And again, we will be bringing you a refresh of the economic development strategic plan to you in these upcoming months. Staff continue to make improvements with OpenGov and this year have increased communication and provide even more transparency to property owners to track contractor performance. The city successfully launched OpenGov online permitting and licensing on July 1, 2025, following a phased rollout and extensive cross-departmental collaboration. The implementation, including building all permit types into the system, refining the customer interface, and ensuring payment accuracy, and conducting thorough quality check. And also staff training. In the first 6 months, the system processed 3,021 online applications, issued 2,603 permits, and recorded 1,337 kiosk sessions. Staff continues to monitor usage and gather feedback to enhance accessibility, efficiency, and user experience. I'd like to touch on this a little bit further because while this is a public-facing software that we're using, these numbers could not be brought to you if we didn't have technology. Why thus technology is so important for us to catch up in technology. Community relations. The library's Teen Civic Engagement Club serves youth ages 13 to 18. This year, the club set a priority to learn about local city government. So this is the beginning of incorporating youth into civic engagement opportunities. From October through December, the club met 5 times with 29 teens participating for planning and visioning purposes. These sessions introduced the basics of civic engagement and sparked a great discussion among the youth. Looking ahead, from January through June, the club will host guest speakers, including Library Board President and Council Member Susan Santangelo, Mayor David Tennyson, and staff from Public Works and Economic Development. These conversations will help teens understand the roles of the city council, city management, and city services that matter to them, such as transit and economic development. In addition, the teens will have an opportunity to visit City Hall and attend a city council meeting, putting their learning into action. This initiative is about empowering the next generation to engage with their local government and contribute their voices to our community's future. The Las Personas Community Academy is back for its 3rd year as part of Camarillo's community engagement strategy. This interactive program helps residents learn about the city's roles and responsibilities while encouraging civic participation. The Spring 2025 Academy began this past Monday and will continue for 6 consecutive Monday evenings through March 9. We have a cohort of 21 Camarillo residents, including a student from Adolfo Camarillo High School. Community engagement is a priority of the City Council, and we continue to expand the city's reach through digital communication. We have sustained a strong city email open rate of 68%, a 3% increase over last year. We've increased the total social media followers by 24%. And we increased social media shares by 7%, reflecting higher audience engagement compared to 5.8% in 2025. And we've achieved a 307%, yes, 307% increase in impressions, all thumbs up, which speaks to the quality of our social media communications. In intergovernmental relations, staff met with Assemblymember Bennett to negotiate an amendment to AB 367 concerning water infrastructure to ensure city interests are met. And we also continue to meet with the Regional Water Quality Control Board for the Camarillo Sanitary District Stormwater Permit. These are only two examples of the many intergovernmental relations meetings and discussions that we have, and more information is provided in your report. All right, we're going to close off this section with employee relations. They've been very active. The Human Resource Department is taking the lead in advancing the City Council's goal of maintaining an optimum work environment. Building strong leaders through the organization with the commitment of supporting the City Council's vision is making great advancements through a newly developed leadership program. We continue to provide ongoing training on technical skills, safety, soft skills, and technology. In addition to other efforts, the Human Resources Department continues to work on NeoGov. This is a platform that allows for an efficient performance evaluation process. Human Resources continue to update their form in a digital format. Regarding programs and other projects, HR continues to foster collaborative engagement for employee participating in many internal activities. Other initiatives that have started or are continuous implementations include the modernization of personnel rules and wellness initiatives. Some planned HR projects for 2026 include performance management review, organizational assessment, and a comprehensive benefits review. And Mayor, this concludes section 1, which is a performance update. The recommendation here, I'll pause for questions, concerns, input. We're really looking for your input, but the recommendation here is to review and provide input on the progress of the fiscal year 2025-26 strategic plan.
Any comments from council? Vice Mayor, go ahead.
Just brief comments, and then we're going to get into the goals and objectives. But overall, Carmen and Greg and staff, I'm just very appreciative of all the work that happens behind the scenes and all the improvements that we have made, either from social media to connecting with the community in so many different ways. So just super, super thankful for all your work. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Kildee.
Good time just for comments or a question or?
Questions, and I believe we have council discussion and input after public comments. So if you
Okay.
have any questions.
One question. If you go back to the grants that we're very, we're very vigorously pursuing a lot of grants, at some point will, perhaps throughout this year, will the council be receiving updates on where those grants are as far as the process? I mean, sometimes these grants, it takes years, and I totally understand that. But will we be getting updates on especially some of the major ones that we've applied for and perhaps will apply for and we don't even know they exist right now, for instance?
That's a good question. Councilmember Kildee, yes, we'll be happy to prepare for you a list of the grants and their status, where they're at in their status. You're absolutely right. Sometimes it takes some time to be even written or requested. So we will provide a comprehensive list. We don't have one in place now, but we're happy to prepare one for you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Councilmember Santangelo.
Thank you. I just wanted to kind of mimic what Councilmember Martinez Bravo said. Thank you so much for your work. You were speaking fast because I know you were trying to get so much information in, and I appreciate that. But we really should be proud of all the work that we've done over the past year. So thank you, and thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
And I guess we can continue with part 2.
Okay. Now, I mentioned that as we were preparing for this presentation, the first part was very lengthy, and it was, and I spoke really fast, so I cut 10 minutes from the presentation. The memorandum, I hope, provides you the detail needed if you needed to go back and get some additional information on the progress. Section 2 is the review of our current goals and objectives and the key values. City Council just received a copy of the PowerPoint because I think that rather than going slide by slide, I think what I'd like to focus on, and I don't want to talk at you or keep talking, what I'd like to hear more is from you. You know I prepared these slides with the goal, and then summarized the key values from that goal. So from the objectives. So if I took all the objectives and summarized them, put them in bullets for you. But you know this really well because you've established these goals and objectives. So rather than me reading off to you, I think that if you'd like, Mayor, I will do it however way you want. I can go through each one. I have a statement for each one. I won't read off the slides, but I have a statement for each slide. Or I can turn this over to you and get your input. It's however you like for me to proceed.
Will of the council?
I'm fine with just providing input. I think that's more efficient.
Mr. Kildee?
I'm fine with that, but I kind of like to go
Goal by
section
goal?
by section as well. Can we do a hybrid perhaps
Sure.
of that? Yeah.
Okay. So what I'd like to do then is bring your attention to goal number 1, fiscal management. And you have this before you, so you can read the goal. It is the goal. And then you have the summarized values. When you take all the objectives, it's summarized for you. What I'd like to say about fiscal management is that fiscal management is a core city council priority. It's focused on maintaining sound, conservative financial practices that ensure the city's long-term sustainability. This includes diversifying revenue sources, improving efficiencies through streamlined operations and technology, and maintaining a strategic financial plan to guide infrastructure and capital investment. Together, these efforts allow the city to responsibly fund major projects, reduce financial risk, and continue delivering reliable, high-quality services to the community. So overall, I believe the work that we are doing is achieving those, but I'd like to turn it over to you to give us your input on what do you see in terms of the goal? Do you see that we need to provide any changes? You have a list of objectives in the attachment. You were provided fiscal year 26 strategic plan. So as you look into 26-27, in terms of the fiscal management goal and objectives, are there certain areas you'd like us to focus on, certain changes that need to be considered, and so that we can incorporate those when we come back to you later in a couple of months?
Any council member comment on this goal?
I'm very comfortable with what we have.
Yeah, I am too. I'm just wondering the challenge that I have as a council member here is I totally support the goal of ensuring sustainable funding for infrastructure and capital needs, but it seems like it's changing so much now vis-a-vis the inflation rate, and what we go out to bid are coming in certainly higher than what they used to. So I'm just kind of thinking as to whether or not definitely want to keep this here, but how do we sustain that? In other words, I think that really has to be a super goal of mine, is really trying to, if we can at all, trying to sustain, this goal that we have here with that. Does that make any sense? Am I making sense with that?
Okay, thank you.
I'm just trying to prioritize this, something that is going to be there for a whole long time, and it's going to become more and more important. I guess in fewer words is what I'm trying to explain. Yeah.
Okay. I do believe that, we're putting major emphasis on attaining funding from other areas, from grants, from appropriations for state and federal. So a lot of emphasis is going to grants management so that we can pay for projects, prioritize those projects where there's funding so that we're not using our general fund dollars or other dollars that can be used for other projects. So we do prioritize that. We do have our budget development, and we will have a mid-year report coming at the first meeting in February. And it'll talk about the status of our budget overall. So we'll keep that in mind, Councilmember Kilby, that this is really critical. We understand that this is a very critical goal for the council. It's your number one goal. Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. One of the goals is the diversification of city revenue sources. Our two largest sources for the general fund are property tax and sales tax. So what have we done as a city to diversify these revenue sources? What new projects are coming up or new businesses coming to town that will increase transient occupancy tax and other revenue sources for the city?
Okay, I'll turn that over to our finance director.
Thank you for the question. Good question. I think when we're talking about sales tax, there is the Springville area that is open for development, and we have a few things coming in the next year or 2 years that are going to bring in additional revenue sources and streams. We're looking forward to that. We also know that the Mayan properties over near the outlets are coming in with the 2 hotels and the conference center, and that would generate additional TOT revenues. So those are 2 examples of developments, areas of development that will bring in future revenue streams.
Thank you. Next one.
Okay, thank you. Community enrichment is focused on enhancing quality of life by creating a safe, inclusive, and connected community. This goal supports the arts, cultural identity, community wellness, and volunteerism while strengthening partnerships with nonprofit organizations that serve our residents. It also emphasizes maintaining safe, well-cared for neighborhoods through proactive code enforcement and public engagement, helping ensure Camarillo remains a welcoming and vibrant place to live. Mayor?
Council members?
Nothing to add.
Nothing to
I
add.
think that's,
Yeah.
Continue.
Thank you. Goal number 3, public safety and emergency resilience. Goal 3 focuses on protecting residents, businesses, and city infrastructure by strengthening public safety and emergency resilience. It emphasizes continued support for law enforcement, coordinated emergency preparedness, and expanded community engagement to build trust. A key component is addressing homelessness and mental health challenges through collaborative partnerships. The goal also prioritizes infrastructure investments and proactive planning to mitigate climate-related risks and ensure continuity of operations during emergencies.
Council members?
I'm good.
I actually do have something to add to this. And I'm always happy to work with staff to further develop the language and to see, what is already covered, what can be under, what's an actual objective, what's an actual action. But I do have something written and I wanted to share. I think given what we are living with federal enforcement, one thing that I definitely see, and I've seen others speaking about, is the erosion of trust within our community and the targeting. Unfortunately, people have been targeting local law enforcement when this is truly a federal issue. And so as a public safety goal, and I'm happy to embed it into what we already have, but I really want to focus on the trust issue. So what I have is, it is a goal of the city of Camarillo to strengthen trust and cooperation, between residents and local law enforcement by promoting transparency, protecting access to public services, and fostering open dialogue so all community members feel safe, respected, and supported. In addition, I added, Camarillo is committed to being a city where everyone feels safe, asking for help, reporting crime, and participating in community life. I understand that a lot of it we are already doing, not only within the city, but the fact that Eric, for example, goes out to Somis Ranch and provides some programming there, I think is very helpful. I do think that at this point, I mean, we are dealing with things that we never have before. Our entire country is. And so I do feel strongly that it is probably appropriate for us to reach out to a science-based policing partnership such as the Center for Policing Equity. They're a nonprofit that was established at UCLA by a clinical psychologist, actually. And they have different methodologies to continue to improve justice and strength within communities. And so I really would like to see some type of designated strategic plan that is really focused on strengthening community trust in cooperation with these policing partnerships. And I have other ideas such as clear and continued public guidance on law enforcement's role and limits related to immigration enforcement. I have here, what about a possibility of more of a forum or regular forums with trusted community partners that provide services to Camarillo residents, and also intergovernmental city council reports or a continuation of that communication. I also have ensuring community awareness of safe reporting assurances for victims and witnesses. This is even, maybe an action could be utilizing the public library for information on reporting, getting information, or domestic violence. So all that to say is that I think my main concern is that there has been an impact on trust within our community, and I want us to find a way or ways to continue to improve that. And at this point, I do believe it might be helpful to reach out to consultants such as, that's the piece that I feel the most strongly about from a policy stance, reaching out to consultants as the Center for Policing Equity to assist with that.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead, Mr. Kildee.
I want to just briefly talk about the improved climate and disaster readiness. It seems to me that we've got some pretty significant extremes in weather that we're focused with now, whether it be the fires we've had, in my opinion, in Norton, an amount of pretty significantly strong winds here, among others. We need some more rain. I hope we get some more rain. But are we working with the necessary areas of town for, like, for instance, an evacuation plan? Like, do they know what to do if, there's lines in the streets, or the streets may be closed, or is it one way in and one way out? And if that's the case, I think we really need to make sure that we circle the wagons in front of this and not behind it when a major event does happen. And perhaps there's a way obviously I want to keep this, this goal here or there, but I'm wondering if we ought to really kind of expand it to really prepare, not if it will happen, but pretty much when it will happen. So I guess that's the question that I've got. Is it enough just to have it as this, or do we need to drill a little deeper and really go out and proactively saying, hey, you got to know what your evacuation plan is in case of an emergency?
That's a good question, Councilmember Kildee. We do regular planning events for different kinds of emergencies, different kinds of natural disasters. We go out to homeowners associations and to different groups. We've been out to Leisure Village. We've been to Camarillo Springs, in addition to other homeowners associations. We've worked in conjunction with our partners here at the city and with our Office of Emergency Services to conduct briefings on what some of those things might look like. Ultimately, our message comes down to one of personal responsibility. Every natural disaster, every fire, every flood, every rainstorm, every mudslide is different. The characteristics of them are different. One street might be cut off or blocked during one natural disaster, but might be completely unaffected in another natural disaster. So what we do is we read the events in real time, and some of those plans have to be developed in real time. So we might have a plan for evacuating Leisure Village, but if the wind is blowing and a fire burns across where one of those plans are, we have to modify our plans. And so that's one of the things we talk about is preparedness and paying attention to where we can get our information from, to VC Alert, sign up for VC Alert, pay attention to weather forecasts, and be prepared to make a decision for yourself when the time comes. Because ultimately, in some situations, if you're waiting for the Sheriff's Office of Emergency Services, it might be too late. And so in every one of the presentations we do, the message that we do send is it's one of personal accountability and one of being prepared to make a decision. You know your limitations. You know you might have a handicap that might delay your ability to get out. Then make a decision sooner. Then be prepared to leave sooner. So yes, we have plans for natural disasters and other emergencies. Yes, we have evacuation plans and coordinations. We've done things here within the city that will help us out ultimately with putting battery backups now on every one of our light systems at all of our intersections. That will give us many hours of the lights running when the power is out. Adaptive traffic control signals that the traffic division is putting in place in some of our signals, where we use artificial intelligence to talk about, to recognize traffic patterns and traffic flows. Those are all things that we're doing that will help us in natural disasters. But again, what it really comes down to is paying attention to the information that's put out and being prepared to make a decision. And that is messaging that we're consistent with in all of the public interactions we have talking about natural disasters.
I think that's good. Just a comment. What I've observed is more and more people and individuals are staying home. They're working from home. They're ordering stuff at their house. I mean, there's a lot of people staying home in their homes now. So we need to make sure we can double down and let them make sure they know where all the resources are. So anything we can improve that from those folks that are in, you know, their own homes or apartments or wherever they are, especially the infirm, those that can't necessarily get out on their own. So I want to make sure that we do as good a job as we can to get that information about how to deal with a situation that they may or may not find themselves in.
And we definitely do that. We've been having, anytime we have a weather event that comes up, there's a group of people that meet from the city to the county to some of the nonprofits, and we're all on the same phone call talking about, you know, what the predictions are for weather or, you know, what other conditions we might be seeing. And oftentimes we've put out VC alerts to certain groups of people who are in affected areas or areas that we think might be affected. We put those out early, giving people that chance to take the steps that they need to keep themselves safe.
Thank you.
So bottom line is people need to sign up for VC alerts.
Yes.
It helps a lot.
Okay, any other questions on this? Ms. Nichols?
Thank you. Goal number 4, land use, transportation, transit, and community development. This goal addresses how Camarillo grows and moves. It focuses on improving transportation systems, coordinating with regional partners, and maintaining land use plans that reflect community priorities. The goal supports redevelopment and revitalization efforts, particularly in targeted areas like Camarillo Commons and Old Town, while also advancing housing opportunities, including affordable and supportive housing. Mayor.
Council members, questions, comments?
Nothing.
I don't have anything to add.
Mr. Kildee?
The only thing I can perhaps add is we've got, and it might already be in here, but we've got a bunch of, well, I want to say, we have some aging shopping centers in our city. And at some point, we're going to, or they're going to have to take a look at, you know, how are they going to deal with all the stuff and the ramifications of the future here. Now, maybe that's in here, and we've got it in Old Town and key districts. I think we do a really good job with that, but I think there's some shopping centers, for instance, here that are going to, at some point, going to need a little help. here. So just FYI, I think it should be on the radar and make sure that we don't just limit it to certain areas, but we expand it to other areas that may need some TLC, if you will.
Thank you.
Continue.
Goal 5, technology and city facilities. It ensures that city technology and facilities support efficient operations and public service delivery. It prioritizes cybersecurity, modernized systems, and digital tools that enhance transparency and customer access. The goal also focuses on maintaining and upgrading city facilities using sustainable practices and planning for long-term asset management to ensure reliability during both daily operations and emergencies.
Council members, comments, questions? Hearing none?
Just a comment, I think that this is moving really quickly. We've done a lot of work on this, and it'll continue to move quickly, and it'll continue to require a lot of work. So, and I just want to commend the staff for being on top of this and really working on something that's super important here. So,
Thank you. Go ahead and continue. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. The only question or comment that I would have is, this would encompass like the app that we have, right, under this category? The
Camarillo Connect?
Connect.
Yes.
Yeah. Do we have that app available in other languages, such as in Spanish? Like, is the information in Spanish, or is that only in English?
I'll ask our Administrative Services Director to respond to that.
Councilmember Martinez Bravo, let me follow up with you on that answer. I believe we subscribe to Google's translation services on the app. I just want to confirm before I
Okay.
respond, if that's okay.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
That it?
That's it.
All right, continue, Ms. Nichols.
Thank you. Goal number 6, natural resources infrastructure management focuses on delivering reliable water and wastewater services while minimizing environmental impacts and controlling costs. It emphasizes conservation, infrastructure planning, regulatory compliance, and continued implementation of the wastewater master plan. Securing funding and prioritizing major projects are essential to protecting public health and long-term system reliability.
Council members,
good. No, that's
continue, ma'am.
Other than I will say, I think we're definitely on the right track with the wastewater strategic plan, because that's going to be the most expensive capital improvement project. So kudos to everyone who's been taking that along and moving that forward.
Thank you. Goal number 7, sustainability and environmental stewardship advances sustainable practices across city operations and infrastructure. It includes clean energy initiatives, water conservation, environmentally responsible construction, and public education. The goal supports long-term resilience by reducing environmental impacts while engaging the community in sustainable efforts. Mayor.
Council members,
I'm good.
I'm comfortable with what we have.
continue.
Thank you. Economic development. It focuses on maintaining a strong and diverse local economy. The goal emphasizes business retention and expansion, targeted industry growth, streamlined processes, and tourism promotion to strengthen revenue sources and job opportunities.
Vice Mayor, go ahead.
George, I know you and I attended the Economic Development Collaborative annual meeting, and there was a panel there on film. And so I'm not really sure where we are in terms of that outreach or what that looks like in our city, but it looked to be a very good opportunity from an economic development perspective. And I'm not sure if you're able to answer any of that, or maybe just
I
provide
think-
that information at a later time?
Yes, we can
Yeah.
bring back that information in a follow-up presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that opportunity.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Mr. Kildee.
the implementation of the Economic Development Strategic Plan. Obviously, we're, as best we can, implementing the ideas, but a lot of times new ideas come forward to us that are not even thought about yet. So I was wondering if there's a way that not only you can implement what's on the plan, but perhaps expand it to something that may or may not, all of us may or may not be aware of, but yet hopefully if something comes to fore, we can implement that in our plan and keep updating it.
Absolutely. George and his team are always abreast of the changes and opportunities in economic development. He is currently working, I mentioned earlier that the current economic development strategic plan is embedded in our operations. That means it is complete. The recommendations in it, those that could be implemented, have been implemented. What we will do is look at a refresh. So George is working on a refresh that will be brought to you in February, March. I'm sorry, George. We're working on it. Timeframe will be this year, but we are working on a refresh for you. So exactly for those reasons, because economic development does change. There are new ideas. There are new opportunities out there, and we want to grab those if that's the council's direction.
Thank you. Continue, ma'am.
Thank you. Community relations. This goal emphasizes open communication and meaningful engagement with residents. It focuses on improving outreach, enhancing customer service, and expanding opportunities for youth engagement to build trust and connection between the city and the community. Mayor.
Any questions or comments?
So this is a goal that I actually personally really love because it's really meeting the community where they are. And I think as a city, we have done a lot to improve on this item. I do have a goal more in intergovernmental relations, and I'm going to keep it there, but I think it also relates to working on community relations because it's talking about schools. So I'll wait on my comment there. But I just wanted to state it here because I think there are other opportunities to improve that.
Thank you. Mr. Kildee?
I just have something I'd like to see the city do this year. I'm not sure this is the right time to bring it up or not. I can certainly wait till later in the discussion. It's just it's not an ongoing, it's a one-time situation and or event, if you will. And I can certainly bring it up whenever you think it's appropriate.
I'd love to hear it.
Okay. So our city, our nation's going to have a 250th birthday this year. And I think the city ought to do some sort of a celebration. We don't necessarily have to do, we can work in unison with other cities around the county. It doesn't have to be on July 4th or anything like that, but 250 years is a big deal. So I've got a couple of ideas I could certainly bring up. I've been working on this, as have some others as well. But I think this is a really opportunistic moment to really celebrate, our nation. And this is, just kind of starting a discussion here, but for instance, we have got a really, really rich 250 years of music that was actually started and developed in the United States of America. And I think if we could go something in that realm and really kind of do something with our musical heritage here. Now, it doesn't have to end at that or anything. This is just one thing, but it's such a rich history here that I would like to see if there's something that we may be able to incorporate sometime this year. So that's my thoughts.
Thank you. I would just like to commend staff on the youth engagement. I know that Lizette Torres is leading our youth group, and I guess my only request is to get feedback at a future council meeting on how this is going, the number of participants, and what kind of effect or impact she thinks that's having with some of the youth attending this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, Ms. Torres was great in helping bring the youth together. It's part of that library advisory, the teen group. TAB, I think we're teen advisory group. But Mandy is leading that charge now. Lizette is supporting that. So yes, we'll have our staff come back and provide a report to the council.
Thank you. Go ahead and continue.
Intergovernmental relations focuses on maintaining strong working relationships with local, state, and federal partners. It emphasizes proactive advocacy, coordination with regional institutions, and collaboration to advance shared priorities that benefit Camarillo residents and businesses. Mayor.
Council members? Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
So this is actually a goal that I have been thinking on for a while. And I was further motivated to bring it forward after attending one of our conferences. It was a presentation from the city of Livermore on community engagement. And what they have, they're also a city very similar to ours in terms of population size, but they're also a contract city. And so they like us, do have a formal committee with their Parks and Recs district, which we do have, and I think that's the proper way to go. But they also have a committee with the schools to cover the schools. So that would be with the high schools and the elementary. And so what I have here, and again, I'm happy to work with staff on, bringing this forward and figuring the language and where it would fit. But I do have, it is the goal of the city of Camarillo to establish an education and schools committee in partnership with Oxnard Unified High School District. Question mark, I'm not sure, VCOE, Pleasant Valley School District to strengthen intergovernmental collaboration, improve communication, which that I have definitely found to be an issue, and coordinate efforts and support students' success, family well-being, and overall community vitality. The committee will serve the purpose of ongoing dialogue and coordination among the city and the two public school districts to align priorities, share information, and collaboratively address issues impacting students, families, and schools within the city of Camarillo. And then as some objectives, I have foster consistent and transparent communication between city and school districts, coordinate planning efforts related to student safety, infrastructure, transportation, and shared facilities, support joint initiatives that enhance educational outcomes, youth development, and family services, identify opportunities for resource sharing, grants, and partnerships. And partnerships, I think, is key here, because I think with the city of Livermore, for example, they utilized schools as an opportunity to have community meetings and to have the city provide presentations to community members, and many people feel that schools are a lot safer, or felt that they were a lot more comfortable going to a school than coming to a local government office or city hall. And that's why I think it connects a little bit to the community engagement portion, and then also strengthen civic engagement and community trust through collaboration. And then the action actually was that example that I just gave that the city of Livermore is doing, which is community forums at local schools. Thank you, Mayor, for getting me water. I have an ongoing cough, everyone. So that is what I have now. Thank you.
Anybody else? Continue.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And thank you, Mayor. And our final goal, employee relations. Goal 11 focuses on maintaining a high-performing workforce by supporting professional growth, competitive compensation, inclusive policies, and employee wellness. Strong onboarding, succession planning, and engagement efforts help ensure organizational stability and service excellence. Mayor.
Anybody?
I do.
Go ahead.
I always do. So, I mean, first and foremost, thank you so much to our wonderful staff for everything that you do, for your dedication, and not only your dedication, but the love that you put into your work. I can truly see how passionate each and every one of you are. And we are a city that runs very well, and it is because of you. So having said that, I want to ensure that we are able to retain our wonderful staff and that we are doing everything that we can. And I'm sure you're already doing this work, but just from my perspective, I want to make sure that we are hearing from them in terms of are we providing all the benefits that they want to see, all the days off that they want to have, and anything additional that we can do to continue to be the great city that we are, but to really center their well-being and center them into everything that we do. So a big, big thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
So the next, did you have something?
No,
else to
I
do?
agree
The next
with
section
everything
is
that you
major
said.
project. We've got about 19 minutes before our closed session. Do you want to just go through this very quickly, and then we'll have public comments?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to call on my colleague here, Raina Robertson, who will be providing the presentation on major project prioritization.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Last year, City Council adopted a comprehensive project prioritization model as part of the fiscal year 25-26 strategic goal setting and budget development process. Thank you. This was the first time the city implemented a formal, structured approach to evaluating and prioritizing capital projects. The intent of the model was to ensure that limited resources, as Carmen mentioned, like funding and staffing, are allocated intentionally and are in direct alignment with City Council strategic plan goals and objectives. Since implementation, the model has strengthened the city's fiscal discipline, increased transparency in how projects are evaluated, and improved collaboration between City Council and staff. It has also provided a clear direction for departments as they prepare budget requests and major initiatives, creating a more consistent and objective decision-making framework. I know there is a lot of information in this slide, but this is what was approved last year during our goal-setting process and budget development. This is the approved model with the various criterias and categories like city facility, technology, sanitary, public safety. The factors like legal compliance, health and safety, return on investment, and all the ways that belong to each of these categories and factors. Building on this framework, the city manager's office and the finance department launched the fiscal year 2026-27 budget development kickoff back in October 2025. Departments were asked to submit only major projects or initiatives that met specific criteria. And there were 3 criteria. 1, only projects that the total cost exceed $100,000. 2, new projects proposed to begin in fiscal year 26-27. And 3, any already existing projects that exceed just the standard inflation cost and were material enough to be reconsidered for prioritization. In total, we received 25 projects. 15 were new projects, 13 of which are recommended to you tonight for consideration. 2 of those 13 projects will be added to our capital program, and 11 of those projects will be added to our operating budget for fiscal year 26-27. 10 projects were existing, and all of those 10 submittals are being proposed to you tonight for consideration. The next slides will provide the details for all these 25 projects that we received. One thing to keep in mind is that the project ranking for all these projects was evaluated in comparison to the rankings of the existing projects. So we shifted for those projects that came in as new or existing with a material cost increase. So we'll go through each one of them, and please stop me if you have any questions to go in further detail. The building and grounds category, we only received one project. And I don't know if you can see this. This is the various facility parking lot seal coat project. It was recommended for an additional cost of $275,000. And this was being proposed to be included into the next year's budget. The following category, facilities, 2 projects were recommended as new. First being the courthouse property demolition and the ranch house bathroom. The combined cost increase between those 2 projects is $1.2 million. As part of the review process and the model already established by City Council, the first 2 projects, so the various facility parking lot seal coat and the courthouse and property demolition, are not being recommended to you tonight for approval. These, for the parking lot seal coat, we will make sure to include any of the scope of work alongside with our annual resurfacing projects. And then the courthouse property demolition will come back to you for consideration as we further define the scope of that work, and we'll bring it back to you when that's ready and available. So from these 3 projects we highlight here, only the ranch house bathrooms for a cost increase of $150,000 is being recommended for consideration.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yes.
I've been here when our streets were not in very good shape. And I also found out, too, that if you tear out a street and have to completely put a new street in, it's anywhere from 3 to 4 times the amount of just a regular maintenance. I would hope with that $275,000 that we're monitoring that so that does not get to a situation where we have to necessarily tear it out. And we've gone too long without doing anything, and now we have to, really flip that significant switch on that. So just a comment that I wanted to make.
Thank you. And that was definitely considered as we work with our Public Works Department. And we are aware of the additional cost if we wait too long to resurface our projects. So we just wanted to make sure we are aligning them with existing projects that we have planned.
Just a real quick question. We're not being asked to approve these tonight. This will be part of the budget study session coming up prior to implementation of next year's budget, correct?
Correct.
All right.
The next category of projects, so these were not new, but these were existing projects, are in the facilities category. We received City Hall renovation and library HVAC and equipment replacement. The combination of these 2 projects is $450,000, and both of these are being recommended for consideration tonight. Next, we have transportation and circulation category. 1 new project was submitted for an additional cost of $125,000, and that's being proposed to you tonight. In the sanitary category, we had 2 new projects, the sanitary standard updates and the WRP management connection. The combined cost for these 2 projects adds an additional $725,000 cost to our sanitary district. Next category is transportation and circulation. These are ongoing projects that were already ranked last year during the development process. They're coming back to you tonight because there were significant cost increases. You see the adaptive traffic signal project for a total project cost of $3.7 million. The hardscape and sidewalk renovation and street tree replacement. There was no impact to fiscal year 26-27. However, the cost of the total project increased, so we wanted to bring it to you tonight for consideration. Then the third project is the Pleasant Valley Road Bike Lane. a request for $4.8 million came through for additional cost for a total of $8.5 million approximately. What's worth noting here is that both of these two projects have significant cost increases that are offset by grants that we have already received and are approved. Therefore, there will be no direct impact to the city's fiscal impact. In our sanitary district, we have 3 new projects or rather existing projects for a total amount of $2.3 million. $600,000 of that is related to Dawson Drive and Metrolink Station project, and $1.7 million related to the Pleasant Valley Force Main project. This is the Pleasant Valley Force Main project will be worked concurrently with the Pleasant Valley Bike Lane project. Therefore, is coming to you for consideration. Technology category. As you're aware, we're making major improvements in our technology overall, and 5 new projects are recommended tonight. The impact to the 26-27 budget will be $1.9 million, and the total cost for all these projects will be $3.4 million in the next 5 years. All these are being recommended for consideration. Next is our water category. We had 4 new projects that are being recommended, one of which council has already taken action, and that is the Lewis Road Water Main Relocation Project. That is also, the reason why this project was not ranked, because council had already provided direction on moving forward with it. The other 3 projects are the SCADA system updates, water security, and water standards. And the cost increase for those will be $325,000 to the water fund. And in the same category, we had 2 ongoing projects that had significant cost increases. One being the reservoir replacement, and the second being the advanced metering infrastructure project. Total combined $661,000. However, on the reservoir replacement, we have a grant application that is still pending. This project will only move forward if grants are received. Therefore, this impact would only be if we receive the grant in full. And with that, I open it up for any other questions.
Just a quick statement. I think we will continue this and start our closed session a little later because we fully intend to come back after council. So we'll continue this special meeting, and any council members with comments or questions.
I don't have any. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you're just asking for direction whether or not these should be included in the upcoming 26-27 budget.
Yes.
Comments?
I'm comfortable with what you're proposing.
I'm all right, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Ms. Nichols, is that the end?
Yes, we've achieved it all before 4:30. Yes, so the next steps, we advanced our existing work and action strategies. We heard from you tonight on both the fiscal year 25-26 strategic plan, the year-end progress update. We will begin developing and make recommendations for the fiscal year 26-27 strategic plan goals and objectives. A lot of comments. We appreciate your input. We'll take all of that and continue to work on it. This is not a one and done. We'll have another opportunity to bring you a draft, and then if you have further revisions to that, we can continue on that. The goal is to achieve the council's will as you look at the strategic plan to support community service. And then as Ms. Robertson provided an update on priority projects, we'll begin our budget development. We'll incorporate those projects in there, and the council will have further opportunity to review those through the various budget development opportunities.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, any public comments?
Yes, I do have somebody that signed up for a public comment. I have Bev Duransfeld.
Welcome and go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon, council members. I actually just wanted to make a comment. I'm speaking more so in my role as director for Pleasant Valley Recreation and Park District. Councilmember Kildee, you had mentioned the 250th anniversary, and I love coming at it from the perspective of music. So just thinking about like maybe summer concert series and even our community band, incorporating them into that. I think that could be a really beautiful partnership. And then just speaking of partnerships and the different intergovernmental relations, last year when I did Las Personas Academy, it's a conversation that I brought up with Carmen. So it kind of goes to Vice Mayor's Martinez Bravo's point of these committees with the school district, and this is like a pie in the sky sort of thing of doing a whole region of special districts, water districts, school board, community college. So like almost everyone for the Camarillo region. Again, I know that it's so difficult to get everyone in a room. It is to just schedule meetings for Healthy Camarillo. So I bring that up though in this an attempt and putting it out in the world and manifesting it, hopefully, if that's something to work on. I don't expect that to happen, in the next few months. I think it's going to be a year-long process, probably, if not maybe more. But just wanted to bring that up, looking at the strategic plan. I was happy to sit here because we have our strategic plan and goal setting on Saturday at 9 a.m. in the Senior Center. Just wanted to invite you all to come to it if you're interested. One thing I did want to mention is, unfortunately, this portion was not live on YouTube, and I don't believe the video is being uploaded. So I just think that would have been a good opportunity because I was trying to send it out to board members for them to be able to see it as well. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Carmen, is this going to be uploaded?
Yes, it will be. It is being recorded.
Thank you. Any other council discussion or input for staff?
No, thank you.
Hearing none, we will adjourn this meeting at 4:27 p.m.
Thank you.